Welcome to this episode of the Wealth Movement Podcast, where purpose, legacy, and financial planning come together. I'm your host, Christopher Fu. I have a question for you. Are you a solopreneur trying to keep up with your growing business? Perhaps you've reached a plateau and can't seem to break through to the next level. Or maybe you're juggling a family-owned business with transition and succession struggles. If this resonates with you, then you're not going to want to miss this episode. In today's episode titled, You Gotta Learn to Love the Struggle, we're thrilled to have entrepreneur Barry Bradham joining us today to share his remarkable journey of overcoming early financial struggles in life only to eventually go on and create successful companies with the purpose of helping other entrepreneurs reach new levels. Barry is a master at crafting systems and processes, and he enlightens us on some of the critical yet often overlooked steps in establishing and growing a thriving business. I'm excited to share this insightful episode with you because I believe it will impact the way you think about your entrepreneurial spirit, learn about the importance of having a solid structure and process for your business, and why these intangible elements greatly influence the value of your business, ultimately giving you more time for yourself and for your family. So stay tuned and get ready to unlock the secrets of loving the struggle with our guest, Barry Bradham, here on the Wealth Movement. All right, Barry.
All right.
Hey, thanks for having me. Thanks for having me here in this office. I appreciate it. One of many, I believe.
One of a couple, yeah. Used to be many. Now it's only two.
Oh, perfect.
Here in Huntington Beach.
Well, thank you so much again for the invitation. I think when we first met at the Newport lunch, I didn't get a chance to speak to you during the lunch, but it was at the very end. I asked you, hey, what do you do? You said, oh, I do automation. And I was like, oh, okay. In my mind, I was like, I think you could really help a lot of business owners. So I said, would you be interested in being on my podcast? And you said, yeah. Here's my personal number. I was like, wow, that's not every day, someone's that willing to help you out. So I appreciate you, appreciate your time, and really look forward to, sharing more about you and what you do for your businesses and how you help business owners, especially.
Amazing. Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Well, I appreciate what you do as well. And it's not every day I get asked to be on a podcast. It's not every day that I go to business lunches. Usually I'm too busy here doing things. So it's good to break out of the mold and do something a little different.
Yeah, no, like I said, I appreciate it. So before we kind of get into the actual business of things, I always like to start with a little bit of an icebreaker.
Okay.
And are you familiar with Back to the Future, the movie? With Doc Brown, Marty McFly.
Yeah, it's a good oldie for sure. Iconic.
Yeah, so if Doc Brown came back here and it was like, hey, Barry, you can go anywhere you want in the time machine. I'm curious to know, where would you want to go? Whether that's forward into the future, back in time, you don't want to go anywhere.
Man,
I'm just curious.
I just want the controls to that DeLorean. I'd want to cruise into the future a little bit, cruise back to the past, kind of what they were doing.
Yeah.
Bet on the races, now that you know the winners, especially that one, the Kentucky Derby last year. The horse was scratched. One of the favorites was scratched.
Oh, really?
And he was replaced with a horse that had 1 in 50 odds.
Oh,
and that
wow.
horse, and I forget the name, but that horse came in and he won the Kentucky Derby.
Oh, is that right?
With a 1 in 50 chance, and he wasn't even in there. So I doubt anybody last minute was able to make a ticket or make a bet on that. So the payout was crazy.
Oh, geez.
So anyway, that would be a fun one.
Yeah.
But realistically, I think I'd love to go back in the era of Steve Jobs, and Wozniak, and when they were doing that. Now, of course, I was too young for that, but I would have probably gone to that area quicker, developing, and paid more attention to the growth of the internet and the .com era. I was going through high school and college as that started to really progress.
Yeah.
I know when my stepdad brought home the first Apple computer. That was like in 1981, I think, in Dutch Harbor, Alaska. We were probably the first one on the island to even have a computer, much less the Apple computer.
Oh, really? Oh, wow.
So it was pretty incredible. But yeah, there's a lot of stories like that I'd probably want to do. I probably want to jump around that time. And then back to 2020 again.
Yeah, you want to go back to 2020, yeah?
There. I mean, that was a huge one, right?
Yeah.
And thank God I had already started automation before that, because that's what enabled me to survive through that period. Was having automations, having systems in place to where my business could continue, but they shut down events. So
Jeez.
It was a crazy period.
That's
But
crazy.
there are still some things looking back that I would have done differently.
Yeah.
And sooner.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah. Well, that's I'd say that's definitely interesting to want to go back to 2020, but I certainly see after you sharing why it makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
I think most people in their mind, they're like, 2020, I want to wipe that thing, away. But I think there's some truth to that in those tough times where we can learn from it.
Sure.
So I definitely appreciate just that answer that you gave. It makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
So, Barry, you're a entrepreneur for sure. You own several businesses. Can you share a little bit about your businesses? And I connected with you with Surfline Media, and automation. But can you talk a little bit about Surfline Media and some of the other businesses that you're involved in?
Okay. First of all, the last bust in 2007, I lost everything, and that's what brought me to California. And rebuilding through that, I kind of went back to my roots, which I love art, and I learned graphic design, taught myself graphic design through that period, and started doing that. Ended up building the signage company, which started as a marketing company, and I started custom printed stuff and the backdrops and table covers and flags and trade show booths. That kind of started with a conversation with Skechers actually in Manhattan Beach.
Oh, wow.
And then that developed into this company, and now it's a website and we sell online, BFW displays, and really started getting distributors because our pricing was so low because of the way that I manufacture and the way I do things, and importing the hardware and certain things like that. So that led me to, how do I scale that company and automation and websites, and how do I do that to sell more product without, most business models at that time, you get busier and busier, so you hire another person. You get busier, hire another person.
Right.
Well, software and things are allowing that to be different now, to where you can really count on that software. So that's kind of what led me to this road. And then with the automation and the software, I've realized that so many other businesses need this as well. Auto mechanics, auto body shops, plumbers, electricians, companies that are solopreneurs and they own and running their own business can use this technology to help them scale and appear to be bigger and actually have better service with their customers, rather than just missing a call and getting back to them 3 hours later. If they have an electrical problem or a plumbing issue, they can immediately give them to schedule an appointment, a text message or an email or a way to connect immediately. So they're not missing business while they're doing the work that they're doing.
Yeah.
Or they're on vacation or on lunch or playing with their kids, whatever it is, they're not missing that work. They're still getting with the customer and they're still keeping business going.
Oh, that's interesting. So really this business of Surfline Media was born because of the need of BFW signage.
It was my internal marketing team and systems for my signage company.
Wow.
And then during COVID, when they cut down so many events, I have many friends that asked me, hey, can you help us do that too? And so economic development councils and other companies, friends of mine, leveraged what I know to help them build systems during that time.
Wow.
For their companies.
Okay. And you started, if I'm not mistaken, Surfline Media during COVID. Mm-hmm. Is that right?
Yep.
How was that? I mean, everyone was not doing anything during COVID.
Well, those that weren't online and that didn't have automation, and now they've either laid off their people or they didn't have so many people. They still needed to have a presence of business. so that it didn't completely go away.
Okay.
And then some of them, like contractors and in different industries, didn't actually die. They actually boomed. Restaurants reinvented how they worked, and the ones that immediately went to curbside and had a way of ordering online and had a way of doing all that, they actually excelled. And now their business is a little bit different. And so being able to work with companies like that through COVID was fun. And now I've got, now I'm even better. The software has improved. Platforms are better. They all work together. And that's what I offer now is really an all-in-one solution to help companies do that. And I'm passionate about that. I'm passionate about helping business owners, friends of mine like yourself who own businesses. How can we help each other to grow and to do better? And that's, it is a business, but it's also giving back. And,
that's awesome. I'm curious, where does that passion to want to help others, help other business owners come from? Is it something that was taught? Was that something just from experience? Going, like you said, going through very tough times. What brought about that? Because that's not something that you see every day. I think that's why I, feel a connection, because I feel the same way. I feel like the only way we can win in life is by helping other people instead of just solely focusing on ourselves.
And maybe our stories are similar. As an entrepreneur, it's pretty lonely. It's a pretty solo place.
Right.
There's not a lot
very
of
dark
people
place.
that are just willing to give you time and answers to your questions.
Right.
In fact, if it's a competitor or anybody that even looks like one, the last thing they're going to do is help you out.
Exactly.
So, they're not going to throw you a rope. They're going to pull the rope out and let you drown.
Yep. Exactly.
So I believe that there's space for everybody, and I believe that the help that I wish that I had had along the way that would have kept me from failing. If I have a chance to do that for somebody else, I want to do that for somebody else.
Yeah.
And in that, a lot of times there's a lot of good for me. I feel better. It's a very fulfilling way of being.
Oh man, I absolutely love that. I mean, I definitely resonate that. I mean, would you say is that kind of what motivates you? Because again, you only talked about signage business and surf line, but I know you do a few other things. So you're busy. What motivates you to do a lot of those things? Because it takes a lot of energy.
Sure.
Right, and not everyone has that.
Well, you have to love it, and I do, and I love building things. I love building websites and platforms and systems. So. But I also like to be happy. So I want my retirement or the last half of my life to be things that I enjoy doing. I want to be around the water. I want to be around golfing. I want to be around good friends. And typically I relate best with business owners and people that are entrepreneurs and that are doing great things or trying to do great things or want to do great things even. And so one way to connect with them, and I've been part of like BNI and entrepreneur organization, and accelerator program, and lots of these different things, Chamber of Commerce events and then charitable events like the Rotary and things like that through my history. And they're all really great and they all have their purpose. But I really wanted something that is for business owners, for entrepreneurs to work with each other as like a peer-to-peer mentorship group. And that's where I started Entre Engage is to try to connect local and places around the country, Atlanta perhaps, and Austin and Chicago and different places where I know people, to have their own little peer-to-peer mentorship group where they can meet as a round table. They can discuss together their pain points or share amazing technology that's helped their companies to become better, to scale, to grow, to whatever, share labor issues or leadership issues, and then good success stories and to rally behind each other and support each other.
Yeah.
And the idea behind that is if it's a good idea, and I think it is, and I'm getting good feedback, and it's working well, and it's a good support group for entrepreneurs and business owners and founders, then why should I just focus on Orange County when perhaps knowing what I know, I can leverage that to have a worldwide organization?
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I think it obviously it takes a lot to be able to just have that vision first of wanting to do something like that. And what I gather is you definitely see, and I agree with you, to see the need for that business owners are looking for something like that. Because like you said, earlier, it's a lonely it's a
lonely journey.
It's a lonely journey.
Yeah.
Yeah. Late nights. I mean, you're just always debating, did you make the right decision?
Yeah.
Should I just go back and find a normal job? But when I think about that, I'm like, no. I don't want to,
Right.
I'd rather die doing this than die
right.
doing that.
I'd rather work 110 hours a week for myself than 40 for somebody else with lunch breaks. And everything else.
Yeah, no, exactly. Now, did you always know? I know it might be a stupid question, but like, did you always know you wanted to be an entrepreneur? Like, what was your path towards that? Were you just like bred to be a business owner?
I think it might have been bred to be a salesperson originally, and then I was fascinated with technology and with the internet, and I missed a lot in my banking past. I was management of banks after I graduated college.
Oh, okay.
And I missed a lot of technology. I worked for a bank, Wells Fargo, that had great technology.
Yeah.
And they had good, first to do bill pay and to have online banking and to do it at the level they did it.
Yeah.
But I wasn't part of it. So it was happening. I was teaching clients how to use it, but I wasn't part of it. But at, I think probably 9 or 10 years old, quick little story that I always remember my stepfather telling me later in life. I used to have yard sales for all my toys, Star Wars or Michael Jackson figures or whatever it was. I would have yard sales, and people would come and they'd buy my toys. Well, I had a friend of mine who, I don't know how he got money, but he had like $40.
Yeah.
And so I sold him pretty much all my toys. I said, come to my room. So he left with all my toys and I left with this $40.
Nice.
And a couple of days later, I get a call from, my dad gets a call from his parents, and I'm not going to mention any names, but somehow the mom was missing $40 out of her purse. I didn't know that. But he knew that.
Yeah.
And so I, of course, my parents came and they talked to me and they said, okay, we got to get your stuff back and give him the $40 back. They said, did you spend it? I said, not a penny.
Yeah.
That's so awesome. I always liked having cash. I always liked having comfort. I think a lot of it came from, my upbringing. Not being raised for money.
Yeah, I mean, do you mind sharing a little bit about that? For me as a wealth advisor, I feel like, and I've studied this, that a lot of how we deal with money in adulthood is learned through childhood and our relationship with money. Whether we had a relationship with money or not growing up, whether we were taught about money growing up from our parents or from a senior figure. From what I've found is that most people, don't have those conversations with their kids. And I'm just curious if you don't mind sharing, if what was money like for you growing up as far as relationship? Like, were you taught about money from your parents or from like, an older figure, like an uncle or an aunt or something that taught you about that?
Man, another good question and very personal, but I'm happy to share.
Appreciate it.
My mother was horrible with money, and she was paycheck to paycheck or child support check to child support check. My stepdad didn't talk about money, but he always did pretty well. And my dad always did very well, and he was always very stable, but was always very frugal. Yeah. Still is, very frugal. Mm-hmm. My stepdad, no longer with us, he was an accountant. Didn't really talk to me too much about it, but he gave me a lot of opportunity through the years to work for his company, and he probably overpaid me, and I really appreciated the opportunity to learn filing and then to learn a CRM called Act 123 back in the day. That's why I'm so passionate about CRMs. Probably is that was the coolest thing back then. It was a product that was just that, a CRM, but he used it to send his clients organizers. So I'd help him every holiday season before tax season put together these organizers and send them out to all his clients. Yeah. And I think that was very good training and experience at the time. Yeah. But so I got his stability. He had nice homes. He was good in real estate. He was a business owner, self-employed, with no employees. And so when I go visit him, he always seemed to have time. We could go have lunch together. Then we'd go to the office. We'd work really hard for a few hours, get everything done, then do movie night. So we always had more money. And I appreciated that because I grew up with my frugal father and my mother who was always broke. My frugal father was always there, always supported, always a provider. An amazing guy. And if you ever read the book Rich Dad Poor Dad, it's very similar to my two fathers, although they're both rich. But one lived poor and one lived middle class. We'll call it middle class. And so it was good to see, all three of those scenarios. And my father's still alive today. He's never lost anything. He's got 4 different pensions. He's doing amazingly well. You wouldn't know by looking at him, but he really is. He's doing really, really well.
Yeah.
And so I think learning with all of that, I learned I didn't want to be like my mother at all. And in fact, I would make money and save money, and she would borrow it from me, and I'd never see it again, type of thing. So I was always giving her money.
Yeah.
And she was always spending it.
Yeah.
So, and for me, I just always like to try to make money, to make an income, and then to have, like I was saying about my stepfather, to have the time to spend with my friends and family when they need something, or when I want to spend time with them, or I have an opportunity to. Friends come to visit me. I have time to go on the boat or go golfing, or spend that time with them. Yeah. Because I can work when that's not an opportunity.
That's nice. So a lot of that just kind of, like you said, wanting to spend time with family, giving, to friends and people who come into your life. Sounds like a lot of that also was learned from your stepdad in a lot of ways, because he was able to, or not able to, but he made the time to kind of, show you something a little bit different. Not saying that your father didn't, but just a little bit different. You got to see both. Yeah. Kind of both sides, like you said.
Both of them amazing men. Both of them good with money.
Yeah.
Just in different ways.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I appreciate, again, sharing something like that, because, for me, honestly, with the podcast, just trying to open up the dialogue for a lot of people, because I feel, especially when I help people manage their money, sometimes there's people that are just ashamed about money, to be honest.
Yeah.
What I mean by that is, sometimes they'll say, oh, I have a little bit of money, Chris. I don't know if you're going to want to work with me. And I tell them that's not even the case. The very fact that you're here and that you're looking for help, and you acknowledge that you want to do better, that's the type of clients I want to work with. I rather work with someone that I can actually add value to their life, and they'll actually take the advice that I'm going to provide to them, rather than someone who's just looking for a deal, or just looking, for someone to get something done, and they don't really acknowledge the work and the effort that you're putting towards, trying to make their life a little bit better and hopefully a little bit more easier. That's kind of how I view it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I appreciate, again, you just sharing your experiences with money, because I think we just need to open that up a little bit more as a society, because I feel that also is one of the reasons why so many Americans are living paycheck to paycheck, because we weren't really taught about money, or just having the comfortable conversation about money with our spouses, or even ourselves, in a lot of ways too.
Sure.
Yeah.
Well, it can spin out of control pretty quick. So you really have to pay attention to your P&Ls and cash flow and everything else. Yeah.
Yeah. So, talk about that as far as a little bit. Again, you run, like I said, multiple, different businesses. And do you have like a team of people that you kind of go to for advice, like mentors, just kind of thinking outside the box for other, up and coming entrepreneurs who want to build and who want to scale? It's not an easy thing to do.
Yeah. Well, it's all what everybody knows, and we've all heard. It's all about who we surround ourselves with, that circle of confidants that we have. And if other entrepreneurs are using this particular tax person or this particular accountant or legal team, there's a reason for that. And so I like to find out who people I admire and look up to, who are they using, who's on their team. And it's important not to cut corners with the paying people that are down here, because if you're spending just a little bit of money on a weaker marketing person, or a weaker attorney or a weaker tax person, there's a reason why somebody can charge more, and usually it's going to positively benefit your bottom line.
Right.
And so there's certain things you don't cut corners with. you can eat hot dogs if you need to get through something, but I wouldn't advise spending less money on your marketing team.
Yeah, no, exactly. What about for, let's just say, if they're just starting out, right, and they don't maybe have the revenues that are coming in to afford, say, someone that's a little bit more on the higher end?
Well, there's really good software out there, and there's really good people to follow and podcasts to listen to and YouTube videos to watch, and there's some great people out there that give a lot of free content.
Yeah.
That of course they want you as a client, and eventually maybe they'll get you as a client. But for now, it's good to learn who those personalities are, to follow them, and to be groomed with some of this good content that's available now.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think there's a lot of people out there that are giving out. I go to YouTube all the time.
Yeah.
To learn stuff, to learn this podcasting.
Right, sure.
That's my second degree in life is YouTube. So I agree. I mean, that's a great resource. There's a lot of people, just like you said, giving free content just to help you build the foundation. And I think a lot of people just kind of also want a shortcut too fast.
Yeah.
Would you say? And I feel like there's a lot of foundation work that you want to make sure you get done first too.
Absolutely. And a lot of times you kind of find out what that is once you are trying to scale, at least in some of my experiences. I'm trying to go and I'm gangbusters. And there was a time when my company was breaking the $100,000 a month in sales. And I kept hitting that wall going, man, the whole building is going to fall down. Trying to do this level of volume is because my foundation was weaker. I didn't have the right software, the right systems, the right people, the right partners, whatever that is. The right vendors, perhaps, that can keep up with that growth and that scalability. And some of it can happen in the beginning, and some of it has to happen as you grow, because you might be able to get away with a do-it-yourself QuickBooks kind of platform in the beginning to get your own P&Ls, but at some point you're going to want some advisors, and so you're going to have ups and downs in certain areas probably.
So when you hit that wall, what did you do? Did you just kind of take a big step back and just kind of reassess everything, and then start to see where were the weaknesses maybe, and then where were the strengths, and where to start to then shift more of your focus and resources?
Sure. Yeah. For me, I inventory products, so it's constantly a space type thing. It's the people here to do the shipping, the shipping. Absolutely everything is a decision that has to be made and has to be scrutinized, and it's got a price tag attached to it that's going to affect cash flow. So you just have to constantly be balancing that cash flow versus, what you can afford and what you need, and prioritizing and reprioritizing as you're growing. Some people may get to a point where they can get some capital and something like that to help them expand and grow. I've tried to do it just by being profitable and using that profit to carry me through all my growth. And I know that's probably a weakness of mine, but it's also allowed me to have the life that I want to have and be somewhat flexible and not answering to a lot of investors or things like that. So that may change in the future, but that's where I'm at right now.
Yeah.
And I'm okay with it. It got me through COVID.
Yeah. Well, and then that's the most important thing. It got you through COVID, got you through one of the hardest times for all small businesses, especially starting one up.
Yeah.
But you also saw a need for it, early on, I think. And now obviously it's something that's catching on. So I know I asked you this, earlier, and I was hoping that you could share it. There's a lot of up and coming companies like Surfline Media, right, that do automation. What makes Surfline Media different compared to everyone else?
Wow. Well, I'd say, first of all, I learned it and used it for my other company and believed in it so much because I saw the power of what it allowed me to do with less people and to continue the growth and the order processing, the manufacturing, all the stuff that needs to happen with fewer people. So I know I have faith in the ability of what it can do when it can do correctly. And I've tried a lot of different platforms. I've spent thousands and thousands of dollars and probably thousands and thousands of hours on all these different platforms like HubSpot and Salesforce and Infusionsoft and now called Keep and MailChimp and Constant Contact and on Active Campaign, on and on and on. I've tried them all. And now I have the platform that is just the perfect fit for, I believe, really any small business that has a small sales team, $300,000 company to a $3 million company. And that's my bread and butter. That's my prime target. I know I can help them, especially if they're still growing, trying to scale, or just trying to free up some time. And they have customers, they're trying to free up time, still provide great customer service, but they want more time out of their business to enjoy life, or to, like what I did, started to plan meeting.
I think that's a couple points that I really loved about that. For one, you like you said, you tried out so many different vendors, and just didn't find one that kind of did everything that you were looking for your own business. So you said, what, I'll just build it myself.
Yeah.
It's kind of very much Elon Musk approach, the way I look at it.
Yeah.
He was like, I want to build an electric car, right? He went to, I forgot, I think it was BMW and tried to have them build an electric car. And they were like, no, you're dumb. Yeah. You don't know what you're talking about. And he was like, no, screw it. I'll just build it myself. I'll build it the way I want it to build.
Yeah.
And even same with SpaceX and wanting to buy rockets, trying to buy 3 rockets from Russia, and they didn't want to sell it to him. So it was like, let me just build my own then.
Right.
So I love that. Just kind of like you built something that you works because you built it for your own company.
I think you just crossed some T's and dotted some I's in my mind. That's how this touchscreen computer came about, Vismar.
Oh yeah,
that's a startup company that I have. That's a touchscreen presentation monitor for trade shows or for conference rooms. That it's a whiteboard, it's a computer, it does everything. It has Wi-Fi.
Oh wow!
And I couldn't find exactly what I wanted for the budget, so I built my own.
That's awesome.
Entre engaged. I couldn't find the right networking business group that I envisioned that I really wanted for myself. So I built it.
Yeah.
You're right.
Oh man, that is awesome. And the other thing that resonated with me a lot is that you wanted to give back time to business owners.
Yeah.
Making the process of business and them making sure that they can be efficient in their business so that they can have more time to do the things that matter most to them, whether it be family, golfing, travel, whatever it may be.
Yeah.
I think that's the most important thing at the end of the day, that you're not selling, but giving to people, giving to business owners.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think it's an amazing thing. It's a beautiful thing.
It's a very small price to pay. For what it does for your customers, for yourself, and the ability to scale and grow without needing such a huge team. That's a huge commitment. Every new employee is $3,000 to $8,000, depending on the level of employee. Mm-hmm. Great employees are over $10,000 a month, and that's an investment that we have to decide: is it the best fit, or are we doing it just because we need somebody that's going to handle some manual stuff that can be automated?
Right.
And if that's the case, these systems never call in sick. They're never late to work. They're always there.
Yeah.
They don't. There's so many. I know it's great to have employees and to build businesses with employees. But there is a balance that needs to happen, or some businesses can't make it at all. So this can make the difference between a business being able to still be sustainable and to grow, or not.
Yeah.
And sometimes that's what it comes down to.
Yeah. No, that makes a lot of sense, especially as business owners grapple and deal with things like inflation, and wage inflation. It's especially here in California. It's very expensive to have employees, and I think, like you said, it's about finding that right balance. It's not that we don't want employees or have to pay people, but it's also cost of doing business. We have to be smart in the P&L and look at cash flow like anything else, like your own household budget.
That's right.
What areas can we improve upon to be more efficient and maximize?
Yeah.
So I definitely see for a lot of business owners a space of having automation in their business, especially with a lot of the clients, like you shared, that you help out a lot.
Sure.
Yeah.
And a lot of times that's how I approach it as well. When I'm talking to a business owner, at some point they're going to want to hire a marketing person or somebody that can help them with automation. Well, for somebody decent, that's good, that's going to get you off the ground and get you moving, it's going to be at least a probably $5,000 monthly commitment and up. Total cost of the employee is probably going to be, $6,000-7,000 a month after workers' comp insurance, everything else. Whereas for a fraction of just one employee, I can provide my whole team of 8 employees that are all specialized in graphic design and video and marketing and automation and systems and technology and API integrations and all of that. starting at $297 a month.
Yeah.
So it's an affordable next step when you need to do it. And I was meeting with a new client today, a tattoo artist, and he's like, well, I need to get an extra 30% more volume. And he didn't know that until I asked him some questions, and he realized that's what he needs, 30% more volume.
Oh.
He's like, so once I do that, then I can afford the $297. I'm like, but to get that, you need this to get there. So you're going to, you know what I mean?
Right.
So
Chase the answer.
figure out a way to afford that, because that's what's going to allow you to get there.
Right.
And you're never going to look back on that being a bad decision, because there's so many positive things that come with it.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I look at that even to your new client, you know, as just a small, tiny little sacrifice, maybe a little bit of sacrifice in cash flow, maybe to his pocket, just so that you can get this service to hopefully 10, 20x down the road. Again, just efficiency and time is I think the name of every entrepreneur's life.
Exactly right. Yeah, you can quickly say, I'm going to do everything myself, but first of all, you got to learn how to do it first. Then you got to learn how to do it effectively and efficiently. And then you got to learn how to do it successfully to get results.
Yeah.
That learning curve right there got you 10 years. You're never going to get there.
Yeah, exactly. Now, for someone that's maybe brand new, want to be a business owner, I see this a lot, especially with my generation, the millennial generation. You see a lot more people wanting to be business owners. It's not easy by any stretch of the imagination, but any piece of good advice that you can offer someone, especially that wants to entertain this life, this lifestyle.
Well, I'd say when you're still living at home, spend a little, I'm not assuming that everybody's doing this, but spend a little less time doing video games and other things, watching TV, whatever you're doing, Instagram videos, and watch good Instagram videos. Find good people to follow. Find good influencers that are going to provide you value, not just the ones presenting shiny objects all the time. Hey, this is how I drive my Porsche, my Lamborghini, but ones that are real with real solid information. And it's a sacrifice to work for free a little bit, to learn some things, to get to the point where now money's working for you. And that's ultimately where we all want to be. It's to get the money working for us. So we're not working an hour to get paid for an hour's worth of work. Yeah. There's only so many hours we can work in a day if that's the agreement we have with money. Yeah.
No, I agree. I think it's definitely the, like you said right there, just doing the sacrifices in the very beginning, right?
Yeah.
And then I think the biggest thing as well is just educating yourself. Yeah. Educating yourself. I mean, you're a student of technology, right? You love technology, and that's why you want to go and meet Steve Jobs. You know, when he created Apple One. So I think it's just having the curiosity to always want to learn is what really helps. I think any business owner keep going.
Yeah.
Right. Because we can't. I feel like we can't stay stagnant. We're not people that like to stay still.
Yep. You don't grow, you die in many cases.
Yeah, no, exactly. Now, I'm curious, you know, you've been in business for, you know, a long time now. Where do you see the business landscape in the next 5 years with AI, with obviously automation, you know, a lot of things going on? Where do you see things in the next 5 years for business?
Wow. You know, I really hope I'm right on this, but I hope that people at some point are a little bit more fed up with technology and online and just kind of pulling off of Facebook more and filling their head with positive things rather than negative politics. Coming into another political season that gets everybody all riled up.
Yes.
Now we've got a nasty war going on and sides are being taken. I think just the technology can really brainwash and feed things into our minds. So I hope that I'm right. I hope we're going to see less of that. I hope we're going to get more back to face-to-face. People need to rely on each other more and less on government to make us happy, to keep us safe. We have to trust each other's experiences with certain things that we've gone through, and realize that we're probably going to be more truthful with each other than we're going to get from CNN and Fox News. And you know, we need to spend more time together face-to-face and bond, and face-to-face events and face-to-face business and learning and things like that.
Yeah, I mean, I feel the same exact way. I feel, again, with technology, again, I'm guilty of it, right? Just sometimes just scrolling and streaming, and it's like, and it's you really disconnect from a lot of just yourself and the people around you. So I certainly do hope as well too. I feel like a lot of people want that. They want that personal connection again, as opposed to trying to find connection through a screen. Not that there's anything wrong with it. It's given us some good advantages, right? Sure. Connecting with family around the world, things like that.
International workers, global clientele. Yeah.
But I also feel like there's a lot of sense of just disconnect too. And I agree with you. I hope that in the next 5 years we see a lot more connection as opposed to divide.
Yeah. And keep trade shows real, because we still need trade show booths. Custom printed pop-up tents and flags in front of businesses. And
I mean, I love going to those events, to be honest. I mean, it's just, you meet a lot of great people. You don't know who you're going to meet.
Yeah.
And I think that's the thing, like, because if you do everything online, I mean, you can't really see a whole lot. Like, I don't know.
It's hard to get into a real connection, isn't it?
It is.
Yeah.
It is.
And we try. I think people are getting better at it, but it's still difficult.
Yeah. I think that's one of the reasons why I kind of do like going to these chamber events, because, you get to see people and meet different people, different businesses. And, some people are there just to learn as well too. Like I remember there was a girl from high school that went to a chamber meeting. I was like, that's amazing that you're here. You're giving yourself real life education and learning that you're not getting necessarily from school in a lot of ways. So just for her to take that upon herself to go to something like this, I just went up there and said, I think you're great. Keep doing this. I wanted her to know, like, this is amazing what you're doing for your life.
Yeah. So true. That's great.
So I am curious, with the busy life and everything that's going on, is there anything as a busy business owner that keeps you up at night, as of late?
Yeah. Challenges that my employees are going through. I've got one in Pakistan now that just had a 22-year-old brother-in-law just pass away. He's got an active life. He's married. Now has 2 kids. He's worked for me for 4.5 years. He has babies. He got married while working for me, and I bought cribs for his kid. So, and then friends and family members, and sometimes they're struggling and sometimes they're doing well, and just, caring about my nieces, my nephews, a lot of things like that, a lot of employee things. And business wise, where's the future moving, and, where's the need for Barry going to be, in the future, and how do I fit into that? And will there continue to be a need for my goods and my services and my product and my automation? And am I going to be obsolete, soon because of AI? I think of all the normal things that a lot of other people think about. And I think the answer to that is I'm just going to keep hustling and keep giving back and keep surrounding myself with good people and have faith that I'll figure it out.
I love that. I mean, I totally agree. I feel there are things that you can control in life, and there are things that you can't control in life. And as long as you focus on the things that you can control and maybe educate yourself on those things that you can't, and I think you'll be set up for continued success. I feel like a lot of people, unfortunately, focus on the things so much on that they can't control. And that's really what just kind of, I don't know, just doesn't allow them to keep moving on, because they're focusing on the wrong things in life. And you're focusing on people that matter most to you, your employees, your family. That is something that not a lot of business owners or just, people in the higher up would do. So I think that's definitely a great trait to have as far as for, living a successful life.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah. No, I like I said, I appreciate just again this time that you're giving me. It means a lot. So
it means a lot for me.
Yeah,
I'm happy to share. I hope there's something for somebody.
Yeah.
One little thought that came to mind. I read it last week, or I saw it in the video. I don't remember, but it basically said that employees are employees because of security, and entrepreneurs are entrepreneurs because of freedom. So security and freedom.
Yeah.
Interesting, huh?
Yeah, very interesting. That is very interesting.
I like security also, but I definitely like freedom more.
Right. Yeah, no, that's so true.
Yeah.
I mean, it's even kind of in the financial world, same thing. Financial security, financial freedom.
Right.
I think just everything in life is so intertwined more than we may even realize.
Yeah.
I think when we start to really sit down and think about things. I love, I don't know about you, I'm a thinker. I just love to meditate and think about the world and all the world problems and how is everything connected. So, yeah.
So what are your thoughts right now? Without getting like political and all that, what do you feel? You asked me the question about the next 5 years. What are your thoughts?
For me, I don't want to piggyback on yours, but I do feel that with AI, with automation, eventually, if not already, people are going to want more of that personal connection. They're going to be searching for it, I feel. Because again, we've been we're getting to a point where we don't need a lot of that connection for maybe not work, but maybe just in our general life, right? Where a lot of people are spending time work from home, for example. Yes, you have meetings virtually, but it's very different being in an office and being surrounded by people.
Yeah.
And with AI and things like, what we went through COVID, people can, now move farther away and not have to be close to work. So they're going to be working from home, things like that continue to happen. So I do feel like people are going to want a lot more connection in the coming years than we've had before.
Sure.
Yeah.
I agree. I hope that's true. And what I can see that kind of happened during COVID, I know a lot of people are going back to offices now, but it seemed to me that a lot of people would get a lot of their social time at work.
Yes.
Water cooler time or whatever. And then once that was gone, now they're at home. And if they're living with somebody, then they get those relationships and they can, and hopefully, and I don't know, but hopefully that made those relationships stronger and better. And hopefully that was a positive impact out of it.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah.
I hope you're right.
Hopefully. I hope we're both right.
I hope we're not going more the other direction because we've seen what that does. That's
yeah, I sure hope not.
Yeah.
Now, just kind of getting close here to the end, Barry, is there anything that you think business owners right now are unaware of that they should be, maybe aware of, like trends that you're seeing, opportunities, things like that?
Wow, at least the people that I speak with a lot and that I work with, I would say be cautious of doing what we've already been talking about. Spending too much time alone, spending too much time on a computer or doing things digital. Give it a chance, travel more, go to be involved in your associations, be involved in the communities, be involved in face-to-face events where you can. Keep that because it's good for your soul. It's good for my soul. It's, I could turn introverted and I don't want that to happen to me. It has a little bit. So I'm trying to be more extroverted. And I think it's important as technology continues and automation continues and AI continues. It seems to be just kind of pushing. Video games get better, and now kids are spending time together. When I was a kid, we were all in a room playing Nintendo, and 2 people could play at a time.
Yes,
and there's 8 or 10 of us, and we're all taking turns and messing with each other as we're Mario hitting our head on mushrooms and blocks to get mushrooms. And now the kids are in their own room by themselves with a headset on, still kind of talking to their friends.
Yeah,
thank goodness for that, but. I think just staying active, staying involved in community sports and having social time. I think that's all very important.
Yeah,
for business and for social purposes.
Yeah, no, it's funny that you're mentioning just video games. I remember, you'd have to wait your turn, especially when you're with your buddies, right? Because there's only two people that get to play.
Yeah.
But then I think that's also that was a fun thing too, because it also taught us delayed gratification. Like,
Right.
oh yeah, it's my turn. But now you get to play all the time. There's no lag in between, so it's like, oh, there's no appreciation for it in some sense.
Oh, it's horrible. My friends were all so good too, so my wait time was a lot longer than theirs.
Oh man, that sucks.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh man. Well, I like to ask these couple words, and if you can just think of the first word that comes to mind. I'm always just kind of curious how people think when it comes to these different terms. So for you, Barry, when you think of wealth, what is wealth to you?
I'd go back to freedom.
Yeah.
I'd go back to freedom and also security.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's those two things.
Yeah.
It's both.
I feel like a lot of people also try to avoid adversity. Yes, I mean it's not fun when you go through it, but there is so much to be learned when going through adversity, and I feel that that's what makes us who we are. Is how do we come out of that adversity that we struggle with? I mean, you mentioned going through your business cycle, there were a lot of tough times, but it taught you a lot of things, and it got you obviously to where you're at today, and continues to shape, your vision for Barry for the future. Yeah. So I'm curious on that question. What do you, Barry the future? What do you think Barry of the future 20 years from now will tell you if you saw him today?
Man, hopefully he'd say, try to control everything a little less. Everything's going to be okay.
Yeah.
Do what you love. Be around people you enjoy,
Yeah.
that you admire, and have faith in that, and live your life. And I would try, and COVID brought me down to a little bit more balance than what I saw before that.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Love that.
good question.
Love that. What about if you had the opportunity to talk to the 7-year-old Barry? What do you think he would tell you, or what would you tell him?
I would tell him to have a little bit more fun.
Yeah.
don't think about the future so much.
Oh, is that
Have a little bit more fun. Enjoy your friends. Spend more time probably with the good friends. And I moved around a lot, so a lot of me was learning how to adapt in new circles quickly. Just different moves growing up. But yeah, and then I think I would just say, okay, it doesn't matter whether you're me or any other 7-year-old. There's certain things that I would want them to know, and that's learn about money, learn about investing, learn about real estate, learn about business ownership, and learn to be a good employee, and learn to be a good servant of others, and do unto others what you want to be done to you, and go through life that way.
Absolutely.
And open doors for people, and help people when you see them struggling. The basic stuff.
Yeah, I mean, it's funny you say it's basic, right? It is so basic, but we make it so it's so complicated.
Yeah.
And I think that's the where a lot of people get stuck in their head is it's not that complicated. But we live in a complicated world where we love to make everything complicated at the same sense too.
The technology makes things pretty complicated. It's nice when you get it, but then when you have to do it to keep up, then it's like, oh no, I have to do it.
Yeah, no, exactly. Like in a lot of ways, I'm like, man, I wish I can get rid of this, but I know I can't.
Yeah.
I know I need it to run business, but there's days where I just love to leave that all in the office.
Oh, yeah.
And I haven't been back there yet, but I have a wood shop in my garage, and during COVID, I found my love for carpentry, and I was just in there
Is that right?
for hours.
Yeah.
It was just my piece. And then started my business, and I knew I was like, man, I'm not gonna have time for this. But yeah, it's excuses. So now I know what I'm doing this weekend.
What kind of woodworking do you like to do?
It started because we bought our house during COVID, and we had this brick wall where you put the TV, and that was it. It was a huge brick wall, like the size of this.
Yeah.
It's like that's that's a useless wall. I can't use that anymore. It's just the TV.
Right.
And my wife and I, we didn't quite like the look of it. So my father-in-law and I, we knocked the entire wall down. Luckily, the drywall was perfect condition. Just took out all the bricks and everything, and started renovating. I put in I was looking at coffered beams, like hollow beams, because I wanted that beam look for the ceiling. I was like, man, that stuff's expensive. Let me try to build it myself. I've never built it.
Yeah, there you go.
So built that, and then I was like, man, I want some nice sideboard tables, like from Restoration Hardware. Super nice look. It's like, that's a lot. That's a lot of money, and I don't know if I want to spend that much money.
Yeah.
Let me see if I could build it. So I ended up building 2 sideboard tables, did tiling where the TV entertainment system was. And then that's really where it started. And then the walk-in closet that we had, it was just a basic, 2 rods, and that was it. I was like, this is useless. Like, there's so much unused room.
Yeah.
So I looked up, how much is it to hire someone to to do that? I was like, no way. Let me build it.
Yeah.
I had all the time. So I built an entire walk-in closet. And I always had a fascination for a library rolling ladder in the house. So I wanted one. So I built one inside of the closet so I can reach the upward cabinets.
Yeah.
So no, it was a lot of fun. There's a lot of learning experience in woodwork because it's not perfect, and I'm a perfectionist. And a lot of my friends, when I posted stuff, they're like, all right, hey, can you build me this? Can you build me this? And I was like, no, I don't want to, because I don't want to have to sell you something that I know there's going to be slight imperfections. That's just who I am. So, and plus for me, it'll take the joy out of doing carpentry if I then turn that into a business.
Yeah. Sure.
Yeah.
But I can help you build wealth.
Exactly. I can help you do that. Carpentry, no, this is going to be more of a gift.
Yeah.
So I would give my friends, like at their open houses, I would build not chopping blocks, but butcher blocks.
Okay.
Because those are expensive.
Yeah.
So I was looking at YouTube, like how to make some cool, intricate designs, and yes, did that.
Yeah. I get so hung up on the videos on YouTube or Instagram of the guys making the really cool counters and tabletops.
Oh, yes.
Man, I love that. From cutting the slab to filling it with the epoxy and fixing it, making it look like running water through it. I just love all that.
It's satisfying to watch that. And there's a lot of guys out there, because I'm a big Star Wars fan, and they'll do Star Wars themed river tables, and they'll put in like the different ships and everything.
I sold all mine.
Oh yeah,
growing up, I used to have all that stuff.
Oh man, that's right. You sold
it all.
You sold it to your friend for $40.
Returned it in yard sale.
Oh man. But yeah, all my friends, they all know I love Star Wars, so I always get like posts like, "Hey, check this out." I'm like, there was one video I was like, I saw that already like 20 times. Thank you. But yeah, what those guys do is that's a lot of fun. Yeah, it's pretty cool here. It's pretty cool. So last couple questions here for you, Barry. And I love this one. It's something that I believe in, that we all should understand of our own in life, is what do you think or feel is your purpose today in life?
I get energized by helping other people with their businesses. So I know I've mentioned this before, but I really enjoy sitting with somebody and talking about their company and mine, and how we can help each other, or how I can help them, or just a conversation that is beneficial for both of us or a group of people. Yeah. And I know it's kind of nerdy, but that's really what I enjoy, and I'd rather talk about that than the football game or whatever else. Although I do like talking a little bit about football, but I enjoy conversations about the future and traveling and meeting new people and people of different ethnicities and different cultures. I love that. And then finding ways to do business in those other countries and helping other people. So that's my passion. It's really learning about other businesses and helping other business owners and working together and all that. And I the more I do that, the more I learn that I don't know, and the more I want to learn more. But that's a big drive for me.
Yeah, I love that one. I love listening to motivational podcasts in the morning when I'm at the gym, and one of the guys, he was saying, what you don't know, what you know is limited, and what you don't know is unlimited.
That's right.
And I feel like helping other business owners, learning from them, learning how you can help each other. I'm always finding myself learning something new every single day when I'm, having just these types of conversations, things that I never knew. And I feel like I'm the same like you, just student of learning.
Yeah.
And how can we continue to use that to promote and help other people to want to do the same thing?
Sure.
Yeah.
I love it.
So
Same here.
I appreciate it.
That's why we connected the way we had so quickly, I think.
Yeah. I mean, I think so. It was just that vibe, that connection.
Yeah. Sure.
Last couple questions here. Any as a business owner, any financial advice yourself that you can offer to listeners that you think people should be attuned to it or know about?
Yeah, dude. Pay yourself first.
Pay yourself first.
Get that money working for you.
Yeah.
As soon as possible.
Yeah.
Get the money working for you. Try to live off the money that it makes.
Yeah.
And pay yourself first.
Yeah. Thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah, that makes a whole lot of sense, especially making the money work for yourself is so important.
Yeah.
And then last question. I love quotes. Favorite quote of yours?
Man, I have a lot of favorite quotes from different people.
Yes,
but one that I was saying earlier today to one of my employees is, in terms of working with other people, and I can't remember exactly who said it. It was a Rockefeller or a Carnegie or somebody like that. And what he said was, I would rather have 1% of 100 man's efforts, or women. Back then, they used man as a general term, but 1% of 100 people's efforts than 100% of my own effort. And that one's always kind of stuck with me.
Yeah.
And it takes a village. When it comes to business ownership, it takes a village to raise kids. I mean, it really is a group effort. You just have to make, there's always going to be evil people in the village. You got to be aware of them. But yeah, that's one of my favorites I just said today. So top of mind.
Yeah.
But I also like one that when Morgan Freeman was asked, Morgan, you've struggled your whole life. You've really, really struggled and struggled and struggled, and you kept struggling. How did you finally get here? Like, how did you? And he's like, you just have to learn to love the struggle.
Oh, I love that one.
Yeah.
Got to learn to love the struggle.
Got to learn.
Oh man. Ooh. I'm gonna have to take that one. Oh God. Yeah. That is so good. Learn to love the struggle. Oh man.
Yeah.
All right. Last most important is, how can people find you, Barry? If they want to learn more about Surfline or any of the other businesses, signage business that you have for their events, how can more people connect with you, learn more about you and what you do, and just collaborate?
Sure. I think I like personal connection better, so I would say find me on Instagram, Barry Bradham Entrepreneur.
Okay.
Just keep it simple.
Okay.
Barry with an A, Bradham Entrepreneur.
All right.
And follow me there, and there's a phone number is listed and emails listed, and I'm on Instagram. You can message me. And
awesome.
From that, everything's available there.
Awesome. All right.
Yeah, I love working with people.
Perfect. Well,
sure.
I'll get whatever information you'd want me to put on the show notes, definitely, so people can, if they're scrolling through that and they want to connect with you, just in case they forget, I'll get that from you as well too.
Okay.
All
Great.
Right. Perfect. Well, again, last question: tequila or scotch?
Man, I try not to to drink too much these days, so I'm more red wine. I'm more red wine, and I try not to overconsume, and that's a big change that I've made the last couple of years.
Yeah,
is really not drinking as much. But if I were to be honest, I would say Scotch.
Ooh.
But I do. The girl I'm dating now drinks a lot of tequila, so I go down that road. Another good friend of mine, Jim O'Callahan, drinks a lot of tequila. So with the right person, I'd love to drink what they love to drink. But I like to share my red wine with people. So.
Yeah. Awesome.
How about you?
I mean, I don't discriminate, to be honest, but I'm a Scotch guy.
Okay.
Yeah, Scotch guy. And I love anything from Islay in Scotland. Anything that's made there is my kind of drink.
Okay.
Peaty, very smoky. It's like you're drinking a cigar.
Yeah.
It's definitely an acquired taste for many.
So like Lafroig, is that how you say it? Lafroig?
Yeah, Lafroy.
Or Lafroy, yeah.
Yeah,
that is like that one. That's not my.
That's like drinking an ashtray.
Yeah, it kind of is. Yeah, Lafroy.
Yeah,
not my favorite.
Yeah,
no. 12 and up.
Macallan?
Yeah.
Oh, so you're more of that.
I can do that road for sure.
Yeah, you're definitely on the sweeter end.
Yeah.
Of Scotch.
Yep.
Yeah. I mean, I love that too.
That's why I like rye whiskeys as well.
Okay.
But again, I try not to go there. Yeah. I try to stay in my lane of no hard liquor.
Yeah.
Usually.
Yeah. I mean, wine is nice for that relaxation as well too.
Yeah.
And then tequila is just I've been liking tequila recently too.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of different ones out there. A lot of good tasting ones.
There are a lot of great tequilas.
Yeah,
definitely.
So
I keep my brain on business, so I have a hard time remembering things like that. I'm like, it tastes great.
Yeah,
I know my red wines, and that's about it.
Yeah, there's a whole art and science to all of that. Mm-hmm. It's a different world.
Yeah, I have a lot of friends into cigars. Do you smoke cigars?
Oh, a couple. I mean, I don't know the different ones. You know, it's usually I have a couple good friends that they're more into the cigars. So when we get together, they usually bring them. Yeah, and I just have some.
Sure. That's more how I am as well.
Yeah, but I wouldn't last time I bought some for one of my cousins because he graduated, and I was like, "Can you guys just show me what's good?" Because I don't know what's good.
Yeah.
Something light. Yeah. So.
Right. And cut it for me too.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know how to do that either. And light it for me as well too.
And light it as well.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll fake it, but it's not my thing.
Oh man, Barry. Well, again, I appreciate you. I appreciate your time. I appreciate this connection. And hopefully, we can continue to collaborate. But truly, honestly, I really appreciate your knowledge and just the time. Thank you so much.
Pleasure is mine, Chris.
Yeah, thank you.
Nice to meet you. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
Securities offered through Kestra Investment Services, LLC, member FINRA, SIPC. Investment advisory services offered through Kestra Private Wealth Services, LLC. An affiliate of Kestra is Navin Bridge Capital, and Kestra Investment Services are not affiliated. Kestra is and Kestras do not provide tax or legal advice. The opinions expressed in this commentary are those of the author and may not necessarily reflect those held by Kestra Investment Services, LLC or Kestra Advisory Services, LLC. This is for general information only and is not intended to provide specific investment advice or recommendations for any individual. It is suggested that you consult your financial professional, attorney, or tax advisor with regard to your individual situation. Comments concerning the past performance are not intended to be forward-looking and should not be viewed as an indication of future results.